Me, 28 male, with my wife, 27 female, duration 9 years, she cheated on me when I was out of town. Background: we've been together for 9 years. They began dating before college and remained exclusive throughout. I returned home after college to help her continue her education. She ended her relationship with me towards the conclusion of her final semester because she was being pursued by another man. She returned 2 months later, pleading for forgiveness and promising that nothing had happened. We moved into an apartment together 6 months later. We were married about a year later. We moved into a home last year, less than a year after marrying, due to the money I received after my grandmother's death. She lost her job 4 months ago and has yet to find another, as far as I know. I was the breadwinner after graduation and throughout her unemployment. I was fortunate to have a job that covered the majority of our costs, including her college debts and new automobile. Current: I was out of state a couple of Thursdays ago for a corporate project. I wasn't supposed to return until the following Thursday. On Wednesday, I was informed that I might go early. I contacted my wife and told her I'd be home soon, but I could see she wasn't herself and didn't seem pleased with the news. She said she hadn't gotten enough sleep. When I arrived home, she seemed fatigued. We rested for a few hours before going to bed, where she demanded or declared that she want. I was in a giving mood after being gone for over a week and did oral before having. Her kisses were all close-mouthed and she didn't appear to be into things. Nothing out of the ordinary happened the next day when I went to work. She got home after me and immediately went to the shower after returning from a gym lesson. She doesn't smoke, so when I questioned her why she had smokes in her handbag, it appeared to start a topic she was trying to avoid. She admitted to me that she was dissatisfied and had been for some time. She said that she believed we want different things. She said she hadn't missed me while I was gone. Throughout it all, I remained relatively mute and enraged, unable to express my feelings of betrayal. She ended up leaving in tears, and I promptly burst into tears. I contacted my buddies and ended up biking for a few hours to their residence. I was furious and upset when I got home about 11:30 and began searching the house out of suspicion. She'd forgotten about the rings on the dresser. I began poring through her computer. There, I discovered a record of almost 80% of what she and the person she slept with had spoken over the preceding 5 days through Facebook conversations. She indicated that when she was working, everything were acceptable, but that her time away from work was the worst of her life. She felt that she wasn't getting to do the things she wanted to do, and she felt trapped and upset at the actions that had led her here. There were also a lot of mails in which she pushed on their meeting. She had spent the whole evening of Wednesday evening emailing the man and had even asked him to my house for supper. The texting lasted until early morning. When she went to his place at 3 a.m., she didn't get home until after 6 p.m. on Wednesday, 2 hours before I did. They had unprotected intercourse and then insisted on having the night I returned home. A time span of around 18 hours. I also learned from these communications that she went to his place after leaving the home on Thursday night. I saved the full Facebook chat to PDF, which ended up being about 70 pages of communications exchanged in 5 days and kept in several locations. She returned home about 1 a.m. on Thursday night/Friday morning. I informed her that I was aware. According to the transcript, she attempted to assure me that she didn't mean for things to happen. She ended up sleeping in the guest bedroom after a long period of furious quiet. I informed my folks on Friday morning. I advised her to go, since I was not interested in forgiving her. She went away for a few days, but she has recently returned to the guest room. My parents informed her relatives, who are distraught. Despite everything, her father and I are still on cordial, if odd, terms. I have contacted a lawyer. I've also been tested for STD and HIV. Results are still pending. I've shifted what money I can out of joint accounts and into my own. I've been preparing my belongings to live without her once the agreement is completed and she leaves. I'll have to wait a full year after the arrangement is completed before the divorce is official. I haven't spoken anything to her in the weeks after everything broke apart, but we're meeting in person today to talk about it. I'm sure I left something out, but that's the core of it. The only thing I don't know or have plans for is where I'm going from here. I know I'm still young, but I've never been one to go out and meet new people, and I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to dating as an adult. To be clear, she does not use birth control. We've been using condoms since we began dating, and one was used the night I returned, so the possibility of a pregnancy ruse is small to none. Also, as several of you have pointed out, this was not her first time cheating. I discovered through the transcript that she had with another man from work 4 years ago, following the breakup and reconciliation, but before we moved in together. Story 2. I, 30 male, lied to my wife, 29 female, about what time I came home from work today. She found out the truth, and I'm not sure where to go from here. For perspective, we both constantly extol the virtues of our marriage, particularly in compared to others around us. We really have a best buddy connection. We do almost everything together. When we're not together, we text or phone each other, or we're in the same room doing separate hobbies and conversing. I don't lie to my wife on a regular basis, even about little matters. But there have been 2 occasions in our 6 years together when I attempted to conceal something and was caught. I once lost my job and pretended to work for a day while I picked up a contract with another company, and then I had to meet certain obligations via my state board, which I didn't inform my wife about at the time. I tried to keep my probation status a secret from her until I finished the criteria. When she found out, we had a serious chat about how I was lying to cover up my embarrassment. Today, I left work about 10:15 a.m. owing to a fortuitous change of circumstances, and shortly after, I found myself driving the 30 minutes home in complete joy, listening to a podcast and with no traffic in sight. I returned home, watched an episode of Game of Thrones while doing some work training modules on my phone, went to the bathtub to soak and relax while finishing a training module, and fell asleep in the tub at 1:45, which I do pretty frequently. I awoke about 2:30 p.m. and texted my wife back, thinking I should probably tell her I was home, but I was afraid about what she'd think I'd been doing for the past few hours. She does have some trust problems, not that I've ever texted or been connected with another woman, but I'm aware of them. Instead, I simply said, "I'm leaving early today. Is there anything you need me to do around the house?" Then I went shopping for a few groceries, returned home at 2:50, and tidied up our garage a bit, cutting up a stack of boxes we had placed there for recycling. When she arrived home today, she was probably wondering why I hadn't done more of the important things around the house, and the discussion devolved into her checking the timings on the door lock to see when I had gone in and out. She saw that I arrived just before 11 a.m., not when I contacted her at 2:30 p.m. She questioned when I got home, and I replied that I went to the shop and returned about 2:50, but she knew better. I doubled down, saying I'd probably activate the door lock remotely, since I'd been attempting to do so, and she realized right once it wasn't true. When she pushed me, I acknowledged I had lied about when I arrived home and then about the door lock. As a result, her biggest dread has come true. I lied about when I got home, and she's worried about what I did during that time. If I could lie about the time I got home, I could certainly lie about seeing another lady or anything else. She was concerned about how readily I lied to her about this, and I understand her concern. She has threatened to divorce. Threat is probably a little too nonchalant. She seemed to be willing to go through with it. This tonight, I'm sleeping in a different room since she's crying/vomiting and overall in a poor mood. I understand her concerns. She didn't trust me before, and she doesn't trust me now. I'm not going to attempt to put everything back together. I just want to know what I can do to show my commitment and dedication to this marriage we made if she gives me another opportunity. I don't think she'll ever completely trust me again, but is there anything I can do to convince her that I don't simply lie to her all the time and that these incidences don't reflect the sort of partner I want to be?